week 3 results. So last week I lost 6 pounds. That was a huge loss, so I already thought I was not going to lose much this week at all. I was actually happily surprised to see that I lost 0.4 pounds this week. I thought I might not lose any, or I might end up gaining, because my cycle did start, and I'm just so bloated that I can feel it. I can feel the water retention. But that's okay, because we're going to come back stronger and better than ever next week. Let me just get underneath this blankie first. It's so cold. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Kaylin's Corner. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and if you're a returning person, welcome back. So this week is Thanksgiving week. I am, I guess, coming to terms that, I'm not with my family this year. I'm gonna miss out on all the good food, but I mean, maybe that's better for the scale. And I have no impulse control for home cooked Thanksgiving dinner. Not gonna be making any of the dishes here. Just gonna try to keep on track, keep doing what I'm doing. I stayed really active over the week again. I wish my fitness would have been tracked, but Fitbit sucks. My Fitbit, I had a Versa 2. So I went to Tolantongo, which is outside of Mexico City, for a few hours. They have like the hot springs, they have caves, they have all of this like really cool stuff. At the end of the video, like I always do, I'll show you guys all the activities and pictures and all of that stuff. Like I do in every video, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, I was sitting in one of the hot springs, and all of a sudden I was like, what is that thing floating? And it was the face of my Versa, my Fitbit Versa. It had just like come off, and I guess it won't turn back on. I was already having issues with it. The button stopped working about a month and a half ago. Yeah, about 6 weeks ago, the button on my Fitbit Versa 2 stopped working, which was really annoying me. So I bought this one as a backup, because I was like, if the button's already going, like I don't want to I don't know how to order or do anything in Mexico to get a new one. And I know some things in Mexico are pricier because of like imports. So I just wasn't quite certain. So I was just like, I think it was like the October Prime Day. Yeah, it was the October Prime Day where I saw this on sale. I'm not doing Black Friday shopping, obviously, but it was Prime Day in October, and I was like, hey, my Fitbit Versa 2 is already acting up. The button stopped working, which means I can't like update anything. I can't really if it doesn't involve the touchscreen, I can't do it. I can't like go back or save anything because the button doesn't work. So since it was already failing, but I was like, you know what, I'm really only using this as a step counter anyways. So I just got myself like a little cheap one on, like I said, the October Prime Day. And so I got that one charged up, and so now I am back in business. I had kind of forgotten that I knew I had backed it, I just didn't know where I had put it. I'm so disorganized sometimes, which is hard to think because I literally live out of a backpack, like a travel backpack, like a big one, and then like my computer backpack. And it was just in like this one of these like little pockets that like I didn't even remember was there. I guess I must have come across and been like, oh, this is a good spot, and then literally did not recall that pocket even existed. So I was like, I could have sworn I packed this because I knew my other watch was probably going to die eventually, and I was gonna wear that Fitbit Versa too because that thing was, you know, a good chunk of change, and I had it for maybe 18 months, maybe a little longer than 18 months, maybe 2 years. I'm really bad with time and like the passing of time. But yeah, I was like, I honestly do not understand how that broke because I've had other Fitbits before and those lasted me much longer. But like I said, yeah, it was just the screen popped off and was floating basically in the pool, like off of my arm. It was still attached, but it was just like barely attached. So I was like, oh, so I made sure to go ahead and put it away and everything because I didn't want it coming apart later in the day, and it wasn't working anyway. So like, why wear something that's not working? And tracking my activity, especially because like at that point it was early in the day, like the first stop on that like expedition, or I guess like experience tour, because I did do a tour with like a boatload of other people because like I said, it is a couple hours away by car. But yeah, it was so beautiful. It was like the water running, it was peaceful. I don't know how to swim, but like the pools, they only go up, I would say the deepest pool that I went into that I found was below my hip height, and I'm 5'6". So pretty reasonable. Like there's small kids everywhere, so I couldn't really record too much because there's small kids and their bathing attire, like bathing suits. That's not something I want to record. That's weird in my opinion. So I feel like that's a reoccurring theme. It's like when I go out and I want to vlog, I can't really vlog because there's just so many children everywhere. Or if there's not children, then like, say it's later at night, there's not good lighting, or a lot of times if you're just walking on the street, most of the establishments here, most of them, like when I walk by, they're playing some type of music, which would then be, copyright, and I'd have to mute the video or whatnot, and I've tried a couple times and it doesn't work out for me. So I just, if you have any like recommendations on like, I don't know, how to be a better vlogger, maybe I'll Google that. I'll have to Google that. Yeah, how to be a better vlogger when there's either children, very loud music, copyright music, just, big crowds. I gotta get better at this, I think. I'm also like working, so, when I'm going out, it's kind of like later in the day, so like I said, it's dark. Like some of the times I don't even get out till like it's dark outside, and it's like, okay, well, it's dark. There's nothing really to see other than like pitch black darkness. But yeah, I really enjoyed that experience. I also went and saw some mummies. It's the mummies of Carmen. That was really interesting. So basically, it's like this, like the mummies are both men and women. They're on like display. I don't know. It's kind of sad. I don't know, like, because I'm just like, why? Like they're like, oh, like they were found, and but I'm just like, why didn't they bury them? Like, I don't know, put me in the ground. Like, I don't want people coming to come see my body like hundreds of years later. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like torn on that one because I was like, yes, it's interesting to see, but also like, I don't know, I want to be like resting in peace at that point, right? Like R.I.P. like, but yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see. Like they had, you know, my Spanish is very rudimentary, so you know, I better get back on my Babbel app. I'm doing pretty good getting around with, you know, my limited Spanish, and you know, I've taken several years of Spanish when I was like younger and everything, and I really just need to kind of get back into it. Because I can get food, I can go to stores and things like that. But like I want to be able to like caliber knowledge, you know, of, you know, or a higher level of Spanish, I guess I could say. So yeah, I have my Babbel app. Luckily I got the lifetime one back when it was on sale. And it was like the normal price of like the 1 year. But I'm really glad I got the lifetime, because I don't stick to things sometimes. And being able to have it, you know, the lifetime with all the different languages, it gives me, like, I felt like I have enough time. But I think that's, it's like a double-edged sword where I'm like, oh, I can do this whenever because I have the lifetime membership for this app. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because it's like I'm not trying to like speed run it. But yeah, I gotta get back on doing the Spanish for sure. I'm like right now it's Mexico City. It's a little easier. A lot of people here can't understand English, but you know, when I go to other states and, you know, other cities, you know, they may not. And I want to be cognizant of that, and, you know, respect their culture, and like, you know, I really want to do a like deep dive into their culture. That's my plan anyways. Yeah. Anyways, I've been probably babbling enough. I will chat with you guys later. Museo Casa del Risco. So the Casa's free. At the end, when you're exiting, there's a donations welcome sign. There's this fountain in the courtyard when you first walk in. There's all these like very pearly shells, pottery, china porcelain. It's breathtaking to see. I would go ahead and show you a little closer up of a picture so maybe you can see some of the shells. Next, I'm a big sucker for fancy furniture, or furniture that is very ornate or very detailed woodworking. Yeah, I'm just a sucker for it. So I'll show you some of the things that I saw while there. Next, did you know that Mexico has mummies? I didn't. So I went to the Museum of El Carmen in Mexico City. The cost is typically 80 pesos. I think I went on a Sunday, and for some reason it was free. Don't know why, but I'll take the savings either way. Again, beautiful building, inside and out. It's very ornate. So some of the things that I saw when I was in there is just very ornate ceilings, very detailed walls. So I took photos of those. So there's mummies in the basement, and then it's also connected to like a church. So they have all of like the living quarters for those who lived there in the past. They have very ornate walls, like I said. There's one section that was very, very, very ornate. So I took a couple pictures and then I did like a close-up of it just so you guys could kind of see before I went down to the basement. I didn't really want to take too many pictures of the mummies. There's 13 of them, male and female. Apparently they had this huge orchard, and it was really peaceful and calming when you walk down in there. Obviously, it used to be a lot bigger. But you know, that's. Lastly, I went to Tolantongo. It was a full day affair. The tour cost was 2,650 Mexican pesos. The tour started at around, we had a meet time of 5 a.m. Yes, in the morning a.m. And then, like I said, it was all day, so I did not actually get home until probably around 9 p.m. Again, it was 2,650 Mexican pesos. So let's discuss what was included with that price. Transportation there and back, breakfast, and then they gave us like supplies for the day in a little backpack. So that included a water bottle, a waterproof phone case, a towel, and a headlamp. What was not included in that price tag? Lunch. We did visit an establishment, but we did have to pay for ourselves. I got some mixed fajitas, and that was an additional 250 pesos. Dinner also was not included. I got dinner after I got back to the house. There was an extra experience you could add on for zip lining. That was an extra 250 pesos. It did have a weight limit of 93 kilograms. So obviously you could not exceed 93 kilograms if you wanted to go zip lining. And lastly was water shoes. Those were not included in the price tag, but I would highly suggest getting them. Additional important information I would say would be to bring your own toilet paper. Honestly, I say that about Mexico in general. Just everywhere you go, always take like a roll of toilet paper in your backpack. Highly suggest you do that. I do it, and it's always my number one recommendation. Again, get the water shoes if possible. They were 70 pesos to rent or 180 pesos to own. Since I'm going to be doing a lot more exploring, I just went ahead and bought myself a pair. We actually ended up getting water shoes not at the water park, but we got them before we got there on the route there. Also, always bring pesos. A lot of the tours will say that they can do exchanges, but sometimes that just doesn't work out. Also, always bring change because, again, if you want to use the restroom, a lot of times you have to pay 5 pesos in order to use the restrooms. You know, when you're going there, coming back, just a lot of facilities always charge around 5 pesos to use the restroom. In the water park, there was no charge, but again, on your way there or on your way back, it is quite a long drive. Don't forget your sunblock. Let me repeat this. Do not forget your sunblock. If you're going by yourself, also go ahead and bring a waterproof cell phone holder. Again, our tour guide for all of us had provided them, but it's best to check beforehand. And then lastly, if you're doing caves, you're gonna get soaked. Head to toe, you're going to get soaked. So if you have naturally curly hair or coily hair, be prepared because there's just no way around it if you're going into the caves. Thermal water park. So, you know, it's kind of like a little oasis, and it's supposed to be very hot water. Again, though, this is November, so it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be. I mean, my shower is hotter than that, to be honest. The shower here is scorching hot. So November is kind of like, it's definitely warm, but it's not as hot as you would think it might be. Again, because of the time of year. There's rocks and there's pebbles, you know, in the cave and in the river. So obviously that's another reason why you're going to really want those water shoes. But when you're sitting in the water and you look down,
Like my knee was maybe 2 inches under the water and I could not even see my knee.